So does everyone want to make money here today? Is everyone here to make money? Right? Do you remember that famous line from this famous song from the film, the old classic Golmaal, the title song? Do you remember that line which talks about money? Can anyone sing it for me? पैसा कमाने के लिए भी पैसा चाहिए. Yeah? So this is the whole golmaal of content today. And the good news is that if you want to earn money today through, that's the reason, I think one of the reasons why we have come here. The good news is that there is a new currency in town. And I'm not talking about Bitcoin, or I'm not talking about cryptocurrency, but I'm talking about kids content. And I thought that, yes, there's a lot of discussion on kids content which had happened earlier. A lot of people spoke about it. I think people from Hangama and even we had Curie talk about kids content, which Homely talk about kids content. And it's a very heartening progress to see that people are focusing on creating good content for children. The thing is that I am not from this background. I'm from a very corporate background. But I'm a creative person, I'm a communications person, and we started our content agency keeping in mind that we wanted to make a difference in the world of content. So while you had big companies and big personalities coming and speak with you, mine is a more humble journey in this field of content, and I thought I'll come and share with you. One of the biggest learnings that we had, my partner and I, when we started this journey was, I don't know if you agree with me, but if you have children, or if you know people who have children, or you'll have children in the family, there is a dearth of good quality content for children. Do you all agree with me, or do you all really feel that we are doing enough for children, and that we have award-winning films which our children can go and watch in the theater? Anyone remembers the last film for a child being made, for children being made, which you all went and saw? Any good case study, any good success story of a children's film that you all can share with me? Not many, because I don't know, for some reason because you all are in the field of content creation, filmmaking, I thought that let me cite this, that why is it so difficult to make content for children? The other day I was reading an article in Bombay Times where none other than Gulzar himself, so he and Vishal Bharadwaj, I mean, Gulzar is the king of children, and he's done so much. He writes for children, and the famous song of the title song of the Jungle Book in Hindi was written by him. I mean, if someone like him thinks of that generation, thinks that even today we don't have enough content for children, then I think that we have a lot more to think about. And we all know that, yeah, theoretically it's good to say that, yeah, let's make content for children. It's not easy. But is it a good investment? I think so. It is a good investment. So we had a little experiment, my partner and I, which I will share with you a little later in my journey. But first, let me see if I can convince you all, the future creators or the current creators of content or marketing or content marketing or film marketing, to see how and why creating content for kids is a good investment. And if you want to make money, then I think you all should invest in making content for children. And I'm going to share my learnings that how you all can go about it, right? So the first reason, or the first thing you all will ask me, why should I create content for children? Isme kahan paisa hai? It is so difficult, and so on and so forth. But let me tell you that there is a big market out there. Like, any idea how many children in India today? 35%, but in numbers, just any idea? Out of 1.32 billion people in India, if 35% is the population of children, what would be the number of children? Sorry? 35 crores. Do you think that's a good audience? Good number of audience? As a marketer, that's a good number of audience. The other good news is that, as we all know, that television, the screen size is decreasing day by day. First you had silver screen, then you had TV, and now you have mobile phones, you have iPads. And because the way parents are, they do not allow the children to watch television for a very long time, or they cannot take the children to theaters, though there is no content being made for children for theaters, but whatever. So what they're doing is that they are going online. Children are watching more and more content online. They're watching on iPad, they're watching on mobile phones, and it's the parents who are giving that phone or the iPad to the children, that, yes, go watch what you want. Or rather, not what you want, but yes, go watch it. Now the reason, that is the reason why the screen time for children is increasing. Where earlier children used to watch maybe 30 minutes of television, today the average time spent is 30 to 60 minutes. And I'm talking about all age groups. I'm not talking about after children start understanding your language. Right from the age of 2 years old to 8 to 10 and so on and so forth, children are watching more and more content every day on digital, online, and so on and so forth. So these are two good enough reasons for you to start at least thinking about creating kids content. The third good reason I want to tell you is that, as I said earlier, that there is actually dearth of good quality content, especially in India. So if you see when there is a movie called Frozen which releases, or when there is a movie called Cars, or when there's Incredibles, we all flock to the theaters to watch these films. But where is the Indian content? Where are the films being made for children in India? I don't see many. So is any of you willing to take that on and say that, yes, I am going to make a good quality film for children, for these 35 crore people out there, right? It's difficult, but it's not impossible, because people outside, out of the country, international, they make it. And we have fantastic filmmakers over here who are doing animation and who have these youth studios, who have entertainment companies. But where is it that we are lacking, and what is going wrong with the content that we are making here? So maybe I can cover that as I move forward. Another reason that the online video industry, there are some fantastic statistics over here that revenue is going to be $1.6 billion by 2022. Online revenue. I'm not talking only about kids content, I'm generally talking about the online content that they're talking about videos. So look at the gamut, look at the amount of money that is there for you to grab. And how you're going to do it? You're using the currency of kids content, you're going to do it, right? And one more reason I want to give you is that, do you remember eating Maggie in your childhood? Do you all remember eating Cadbury in your childhood? Do you all still eat Maggie and Cadbury? Yeah? Why? Why do you all still eat those brands? Do you allow your children to eat Maggie and Cadbury chocolates? Yeah? So we are passing this on from generation to generation. So similarly, if you catch the kids young today, like today, kids of the age of 3, 4, 5, 6, if you hook them onto your channel or to your content, then there are chances that once they grow, or once they become parents, they will say, beta, main ye dekhta tha 20 saal pehle, 25 saal pehle, now it is your turn. So it's a long-term game, it's a long-term investment, and nothing is built out of stray, like 3 little pigs. You build out of concrete, it will stand. So whatever content you make needs to be made out of concrete so that it lasts for a very, very long time, especially if it is for children. The other good thing about online is that it's there to stay. Once you post your content online, once either you use YouTube or an OTT platform, it will be there for years to come. It will be archived, it will be there in a library, but it is not as perishable as maybe a film is, because once a film has come, it's gone, and then, yeah, of course, you can see it on TV and all. But once you are there digital, then you're there permanently. So it's like creating your own content capital as well. So if after 25 years also your content can be seen by the children which are going to be born over and over again. Okay, India is a very well-populated country, so we don't have to worry about your audiences drying up, right? So what kind of stuff? Now, what happens sometimes is that people who are into the business of making content, they start wondering that, what do we do for children? Like, what is going to work? You don't know what's going to work or what's not. And even we had a similar problem when we started thinking about making content for children. But we said that our strength is that we have children around us and we think we understand them. So we went a little deeper. We said that let's ask people, let's ask children around us, let's ask their mothers, let's ask their parents. What is it that children are watching? What do you think will work with them? What will not work with them? Okay, so we did a little dipstick, and you're really surprised to find, like what is happening nowadays is that we feel that children is equal to animation. But that is not true, because today children are much smarter. In fact, they're outgrowing animation much earlier because they didn't have options earlier. Today they have many options, and because of the exposure of media, they want more and more interesting and innovative content, and not just in animation. So you'll be surprised that there are children 5 years old who watch MasterChef Junior. It's not 9 and 10-year-old children. There are 3, 4, 5-year-old children watching MasterChef. They're watching sports, all right? They're watching OTT platforms, their content on OTT platforms. Okay, YouTube has a separate app called YouTube Kids, where only kid-related content is there. But when I saw YouTube Kids the other day, I was just trying to explore, I found that the content is being repeated. So they don't have too much to show. So where is all that content? Why are we not creating more of it? All right? So let's not think that children is only equal to animated. Children are exploring much more. They want newer and very democratic styles of content also they are open to, as long as it is edutaining or as long as it is entertaining for them, they are going to buy the content. So I thought today let me share a few things, Panchamantra, or the 5 key insights, or if I may say just 5 points, which I thought I'll share for how to make money using kids' content, all right? So as I said, the first thing is using content as your currency, all right? Yes, we are all here to make money. It's not easy to make money. We all think that, okay, let's sit in this conference and we'll be enlightened by the end of the day and we'll make a lot of money. It's not going to be like that. Let's face the reality. It's an uphill task to earn money or to earn whatever investment you have made. Okay, but you know what is more difficult than earning money? What is more difficult than earning that money? What is more difficult than making money out of your investment? The more difficult part is creating that content which you want to earn money from. Okay? Probably you create something and maybe tomorrow you will sell it, you'll go and market it, you'll go and distribute it. But before that, the first step, we always think about, okay, how much money I'm going to spend, what kind of cameras I'm going to use, what is my budget, what studio. But before all of that, the whole process of coming together and ideating that what is it I'm going to create, that is the most difficult part, because you don't know whether children are going to take it, whether parents are going to accept it or not. Okay? I don't know if, I was speaking to a friend who is a very senior person in Turner. They are the companies who make channels like Pogo, and they have content on Cartoon Network. And I was talking to him that, do you guys do any research to understand what is it that kids and parents want? So they said there is no such research being made. So what they do is they take shows from somewhere else, from Japan or from the US, and very, very few shows are being made here, and then they give it out to kids. And most of them are non-educative. They're just entertaining content. And a lot of parents nowadays are averse to that kind of content. They don't want children to see shows like Chota Bheem and all. Trust me. Because of whatever research we have done, and when we speak to parents, they don't want their children to see all of that, because the kind of language which is being used, it is violence. A lot of violence is being shown on television today, nowadays. So where do children go? What do they watch? If they can't watch a Cartoon Network, then where will they go? What are they going to see? And children do get bored very easily. So how are you going to keep them engaged? At the same time, ensure that they get the education that they deserve. So it's not only entertainment that you're looking for, because parents are very worried what you're showing them. They're not going to only show them Chota Bheem all the day. But if you show them something which is edutational, as you say, edutaining, as you say, education plus entertainment, then probably you've hit the jackpot. So the first step is in creating the content. I'm probably going to spend a little more time on this, because this is the most difficult thing than actually going out and marketing it and earning money. Paisa to kahin se bhi aa jayega, but this is most important. So the first thing is in creating good content. So the question is, what kind of content should we create if you are going to make content for kids? So some of the genres which came across through a little research was that either it should be educational, like Nat Geo, for example. Now, a lot of you might say National Geographic is not for children. But trust me, it is interesting for children because that is the age when they're learning about animals, when they're learning about wildlife. And Nat Geo Wildlife has nothing but a closer look at animals. So completely educational content. You can do edutaining content. So has anyone heard of this very popular show called Peppa Pig? I mean, if you all have children or if you know, yeah, a lot of women have putting their hands up. So Peppa Pig is a UK-based show which didn't exist in India about 2-3 years back. But today we have the merchandise of Peppa Pig selling at a prime in Hamleys. And do you know why? If you all have the time, just go back home and see one video of Peppa Pig and show it to a child, and I guarantee you the child is going to be hooked on to this. Peppa Pig is nothing but a cute character. She's a baby pig, a girl pig, and has a family. And they're just little stories of her and her friends doing regular things every day. Like one day they'll visit a fruit mall, and then someone will create these smoothies for them, and they will talk about fruit. One day they are going to talk about gardening. One day they will go to the, probably they will talk about flags. But the way these little episodes that they have done are so awesome, so simple, and so beautiful. Look at the animation. There is no, it's no tamjam, it's nothing. It's just a simple sketch of a girl wearing a red frock. But you see the way kids are hooked on to this show today, and they're actually addicted. So as a content person, I would request you all to go and just see a few episodes and try and figure out why is it that, what is it about this show that kids like so much? Okay, it's an extremely popular show. So it is an edutaining content also, because I don't mind if my child sees, because there are a lot of things that they learn from this show. It's entertaining, it's cartoon, but it's very educational as well, in a different way. The other kind of genres, I don't know why we're not exploring these, as I said, like, because, you know, I go to speak to, in schools a lot. I've written a book on CSA, so a lot of principals they call and say that we want to talk about child sex abuse, if we can talk about good touch, bad touch. So when Kirit, you know, spoke about Komal, it was really, I didn't know he was the person behind it, so awesome work by him. So when I spoke about CSA, and then they said that, like, why don't we talk about storytelling and everything? And I was just asking the children, what is it that you like? What are the genres that work with you? So some of them said that, yes, they like fiction, they like fairy tales, they like good versus evil, but they also like shows on science, anything which is to do with science. They like magic, they like sports. And there is absolutely no content which is being made in India which covers any of these genres. Okay, we feel science is very boring, but actually kids find science fascinating. It's just the way you create the content that's going to be important. So can we have a show maybe tomorrow which, like, I don't know if you've heard of a Doctor Who or a Doctor somebody, you know, and there are these crazy scientists who come and they do these awesome experiments, and the kids can also do these experiments at home. They're very safe, and they love it. There are shows abroad, there are channels abroad which show these kind of, I mean, online channels, not television channels, which show these doctors doing different kind of experiments. And kids love them. They're like, you know, the fans. They get a following. So we have not explored any of these genres so far. Okay? And being very honest with you, being very upfront with you, you might hate me for this, but this is the problem that we have today. Let's face it, let's front it, because I have seen a lot of content. I've got twins, I've got 5-year-old, 6-year-old kids, and I know the mothers, I know a lot of women around me, parents around me who are looking for good content, but see the problem is that whatever we show them, there is either no story, there is no presentation, the language sucks. I mean, there is something lacking in the content that we are showing children today. So I thought, let me see if you guys can do something about it, like invest. And when I say invest, it's not necessary that you have to invest crores of rupees. I mean, I'll give you an example of our own after this, a small little case story about a channel that we have started as mothers. When we realized there is no good content for children, we said, let's you and I do something. So I'll tell you how much we invest in that. Invest in good storytelling. As I was saying, we are more bothered about which studio and which voiceover artist and all the pre-production, production part, but where is the story? Are we telling a good story to our children? Another important point I want to bring about, you know, I think that we take our children for granted. So please understand that children are not stupid. They are small, all right? They do not understand many things, but it doesn't mean that they are dumb. And we talk down to them all the time. We always feel that isko to samajh mein nahi aayega. It's not like that. Kids are very, very smart, and we are underestimating them. So the content we need to create should also be smart enough for them. It's very difficult to come to their level and think. When I say come to their level, doesn't mean come down to their level. It's come to their level and think like them. Extremely difficult. But if you are in the environment where you have children, or if you read up a little bit, or you see the content which is being made abroad, see, look at the psyche. The children are, it's not dumbed down that, the children will think, ye kya hai? Okay, so that's my issue again with the content that we create for children. Please, they're not, they're just children. So as I was saying that all these problems that I just cited, that India doesn't have great content, and where is good quality content for children, and children want to explore more, they want this, they want that. So as I said that I come from a very humble and a non-film kind of a background. I've always been in corporate communications and corporate kind of stuff. I'm a writer, I'm a creative person. So me and my partner, one day, we both are moms, okay? We're moms to young children. And as I said that one day we saw that, there's nothing to show our children. When our children were young, we used to show them nursery rhymes on this channel called Choo Choo TV. So has everyone heard of Choo Choo TV here? Yeah. So it's one of the most successful case stories on children content. And they did a fantastic thing that you keep that channel on for 30 minutes and your child is happy. Nursery rhymes will keep playing and you're a happy mom. You can do whatever you want. So that is one of the reasons why Choo Choo TV really worked, because children were hooked on, and there was no single channel which was giving them these nursery rhymes. And that is the time, 2.5-year-old on was the time when children are learning nursery rhymes. So they hit the jackpot with that, and they're doing only that, okay? But everyone else is not that lucky, okay? So we said that, well, we have 5-year-olds and we have a Choo Choo TV, but that, your 5-year-old has outgrown that. And then you have other kind of content, but you don't know that there's anything in between. And there's a lot of animated content, but again, as I said, animated content nowadays is not up to the mark. So what do we do? I mean, is there something else, something different that you and I can do? I told my partner. So we went back and we did a little research. We said, a lot of children are hooked on to these shows abroad, these online shows abroad. And we saw some of the most successful videos. And those are, the good thing is that online, digital, has made content creation very democratic. So today, even a simple, non-film background kind of a person like me and my partner, we can go out there and create content if you have good content to show, if you have a good idea, and you can put it out there for the world to see. And that's why a lot of people nowadays have made money, because they have good content, because they have quirky content, because online is a very different medium altogether. So what you put on in films or on a silver screen, probably the same thing you will not put online. And what you put online might not be apt for the silver screen, for the bigger screen. So you have to understand the medium as well, and what is it that people are looking for, even kids. So as I was saying, that because digital has given us an opportunity to be more democratic, we are able to, you and I, anyone can create any kind of good content and become popular today. And people are. There are YouTube stars which are coming up. Anyone knows any YouTube star? Has heard of them? So there are people who are celebrities in their own right. I was there at a children's festival someday, and I saw a lot of crowd clicking pictures with someone I couldn't even see. They were like gathered around that person. And then I asked the security that, ye kya chal raha hai? I thought maybe some celebrity has come. So he said, a YouTube star aaya hua hai, madam. So I said, what? So a YouTube star means someone who is popular on YouTube. You might have never seen him in your life. You might have never seen him on TV, but he's famous on YouTube. So yes, there are people who have made their money from that. So we were just exploring that if these people can make their money, not that we were out to make millions in one day. More of it was that, what should our children see? And if our children don't have anything to see, what about the thousands and millions of children out there? So we decided that let's do one thing. There's a lot of animated content, we realized, and there was a lot of scripted content out there. There was some kind of videos which really got our attention. So there were these simple ones, So there was this child, this 8-9-year-old children, and what they are doing, they have Play-Doh with them. Okay, Play-Doh is a kind of a playing dough which children use. And all they did was they were showing how you can make different things with that Play-Doh. Okay, and those kind of videos had millions of hits out there. So it's just one girl who's 9-year-old, and she's just talking through it. And there's a camera which is holding, which is held up on the, I don't know the technical term, but I think it's a table, and she's showing it, and sometimes it's facing her and sometimes it's a top view. And she's just taking us through how to create that particular thing. Maybe sometimes it's a popsicle, sometimes it's a cake, something as simple as that. And those kind of videos also had a lot of views. And there's no background, nothing. It's just her sitting like this, like Sarah sitting, and the Play-Doh in front of her, and she's just taking you through how to make it. And there are hundreds of videos like that on Play-Doh, with each of them having millions of views. Very real content, very simple to make and very real. So we said, let's experiment something like that. Can we do anything between animation? I mean, animation we didn't want to touch because it's really difficult. Like someone mentioned, it's very difficult to make animated content, very expensive. I said that let's try something more real. So we said that, okay, there's a space called informal education. Okay? When I say informal education, it means it's not that someone is sitting and teaching you something like a Byju's app, but it's more a fun way of showing things to children without even telling them that you're showing them or you're teaching them. Okay? So that is informal education. And secondly, we said the USP is that, all the content that exists today for children, either you have an adult teaching something or performing something, like even if it's a nursery rhyme where there's an adult singing or dancing, or it's completely animated. So where are we going to be different? So we said that there is nothing of the sort where you have children teaching children, where you have children on this side and they are being seen by other children, because children associate more with each other than they would associate with an adult. Okay? So if you're talking to 5-6-year-old, can 6-year-olds be on this side and teach the other people, other children to do that? So these 2-3 things we took together, and then we started this channel called Yabba Dabba Doo. It's called Yabba Dabba Doo Kids, and it was a very small experiment. The channel still exists. We have about 16 videos so far. And what we did is we created a sort of a content journey or a content bucket, that what kind of videos we can make. So we said that maybe something around cooking, because children are really, really fond of cooking, though they cannot go near the gas, but there is something called dry cooking. So can we talk about cooking? Then we said that children really like to do science experiments, as I said. So can we do simple science experiments with them? Then children also like talking educational, So for example, there is someone, I'll show you the video a little later, but she knows the 50 flags of Europe by heart. All right, you flash it and she knows the country without any prompting. So we made that video with her, and it's got the maximum. It got over 25,000 views in 1 month. So some will work, some might not. One of these 2-3 videos really worked, and what we really realized is that then we just sent it out to our social groups. Initially we sent it to our friends, people, our family. And there was not a single person who said that, no, this is not good. We got rave reviews for every video that we set. And once you send one video link, they are bound to see the rest of it as well. And we got extremely good reviews for that. So that's where our journey is currently. We are not yet made our millions or whatever. We are still progressing. But I thought I'll share this case study with you, and also share one of the videos with you to give you a sense of what we are trying to do here.
Hi, I'm Nana. Hi, I'm Kaisha. Welcome to Yabba Dabba Doo. My mom sometimes makes my tiffin for me. So today, hi, I'm Nana. Hi, I'm Kaisha. Welcome to Yabba Dabba Doo. My mom sometimes makes my tiffin for me. So today I'm going to make something for my mom.
Sorry. It's okay, we can just play it the way it is.
Hi, I'm Nana. Hi, I'm Kaisha. Welcome to Yabba Dabba Doo. My mom sometimes makes my tiffin for me. So today I'm going to make something for my mom with my best friend, Kaisha. You know how there are only vegetables, homemade food, no outfit for them at all. Absolutely no outfit for them. So today we are making a rainbow salad.
It's a rainbow
So
salad.
for this salad we have cheese spread, tomato, pomegranate, strawberry and raspberry jam, onions, spring onions, cucumber, mustard, red cabbage, capsicum, carrot and lettuce. So for this we need a big bowl. We will start by putting all the veggies. Now it's my turn. Let's start putting the dressing. It's my favorite. Now the fun part starts. Now it's time to give it a toss. Now it's time to serve it. Kaisa was We love you, Mama. We made this for you. If you like the video, then like it. Please comment and also share.
Oh, thank you. Despite the quality of the video on this, trust me, it's not like this on YouTube. When you see it, you realize that. So what we realized, for example, if you were able to make out what we were doing, is we were trying to talk about the ingredients in a way which the child will not even realize that you're educating them. And then we made it a lot of fun, So it's the whole thing that these two girls, our mamas always cook for us. Can we do something for them? And then you have these ingredients in place, and they did everything on their own. We didn't have to really go out and say this and say that. So we just gave them a gist, and we gave them a few things to say, and then we just shot it. So how we did it? So you all must be thinking that we don't know how much they spent on this, and how are we going to create it. But any guesses how much we would have spent on one video like this? Close. So we didn't spend more than $3,000-4,000 on a video like this. Inclusive of everything, inclusive of the children, because they are our own children. They're my daughters and my partner's daughter and her friend, because we didn't have that kind of monies to invest really. All we had was an idea and the passion, and we knew that something like this might work. At least let's go and see, let's try. So we didn't have any budgets with us, so we said, okay, this is amount of money we can spend. So we hired someone who knew about YouTube marketing and who knew at least the basics of video production. So somewhere he did some jugaad and he got a studio for us which you could use only on Saturdays and Sundays, and our children are free only on Saturday and Sunday, so it worked for us. And then we planned each video, okay? So we tried to shoot about 3 or 4 videos in one day, in one go. And trust me, it sounds very easy, acha bacche hai na, and all that, but the most difficult people to direct and get anything out of are children. You will not believe the amount of fights these two girls had while making the salad, and the amount of things we spilled and they did. But it was a lot of fun. And we did come out with a decent output, as I said. There are a lot of other videos which you can go and see, but we really were happy that at least we have come up with something good without spending a lot of money. Okay, so the reason I'm sharing this with you is because a lot of you might be wondering that, if I want to start some content, I heard a lot of people saying that I have this content, I have audio, want to make something, I have a film, and many of you might be on the edge that मैं बनाऊँ कि नहीं बनाऊँ. So if someone like us who is not even from this background without any budgets, if we can come up with something decent, then because of YouTube, because of digital, the field is out there. You need a good idea, you need passion. You don't need that kind of budgets. You just need some resources. You have to work a little hard for them. When it's money, everything is easy. You pay and you get the best. But when you don't have the money also, you can use the help of your friends, your family, and anyone. There are a lot of people out there who are willing to come and invest in terms of their time and talent. So we put out a contest after this because we said if people see only these kids, they will get bored. And there are a lot of children out there who have some kind of talent. There are children who know geography, there are children who know flags, there are children who know so many things. So can we get them and do? So we sent out a contest flyer and we asked parents, that do you want your children to be a part of this channel? And a lot of them responded that, okay, my child knows how to do yoga, okay, my child knows 3D origami, and my child knows art. So all we have to do is get the child, tell them that these are the 3 things that you need to teach in your own way, without any scripting, without any pressure, no pressure at all, and there's no performance pressure. I mean, the children are not supposed to know how to act and all. They have to be themselves. And if you see that there is a certain, why we think this would have worked or this would work, is because there's a certain amount of cuteness quotient in children which is natural, which you don't have to put in them, or you don't have to create a character or something. They are just there. And it is their innocence which really catches on, So even as an adult, sometimes you might like to see, because kids are in general very cute to see, especially if they're in a very natural way. So these are the reasons we came about with a plan, with an IP like this. This is our content IP. And what we are trying to do, I will tell you with this case example, to monetize it, is what I have been told by someone who is an expert at this, is that sometimes, whoever is creating the content might not want to take the risk of having only one channel, So what they do is they create a network. Like a lot of apps or a lot of OTT platforms or a lot of channels, like you have your Hotstar, they have a network of channels. They say if one channel doesn't work, then at least this will work. So if kids doesn't work, then at least youngsters ke liye chalega. If this doesn't work. So one way of doing it, of monetizing the content or making money out of online content, is have a network instead of sticking to one channel. That is, if you have the resources and the time. The second way of monetizing it is what someone spoke about Netflix earlier and Amazon earlier, is through subscription. So you can even have a channel where people can subscribe to, or you can sell your content to one of these kind of Netflix kind of people or Amazon kind of people, exclusive, where they make money out of subscriptions and you make money out of this content that you sell. Or even for your channel, you can ask for subscriptions, paid subscriptions. So that's another way of monetizing it. The next, of course, you have, so what we went through, like, we met up with a few OTT platform owners, and we met up with few people who know about content distribution and content marketing. And they said that people today, content buyers, are hungry for kids content because they don't, as I was saying earlier, there isn't enough. So anything which is related to kids content gets picked up easily. Also because the audiences are big, and they also make better money in kids content. So that is the reason why, as I was saying, kids content is a good currency to make money with. So there's a practical reason, not just an emotional reason to that. So if you can connect with, there are so many platforms, there are so many distributors out there, you just go and speak to all of them. Today Hangama spoke about kids content, today Shamli was talking about kids content. All of them are investing and they want good content. So there is a demand for it if you all are out there to go and create it. If any of you feel that, no, I don't want to go to any of these OTT platforms, or I don't want to go to any distributor and all that, yes, you can try the traditional way of Google AdSense. So YouTube is being bought by Google, as you know. You create your AdSense account. You need a minimum of 10,000 views before you start monetizing your content. So Google will start paying you for every view for every 1,000 views that you get. So first you need a minimum of 10,000. After that, every 1,000 views that you get on your video, you will get about $2 to $4 for kids content. If there's some other kind of content, then the repayment is not as much. But for kids content, you're paid more. Okay, so it's it's a better investment. Another thing what I have learned, so this is the mathematics, you can calculate on your own. So imagine, if you know, like, if you read the stories, if you read online, there are people on YouTube who have made their millions only by being on YouTube because they get that many views and they get being paid that much. So if someone says that YouTube doesn't make money, it's not that correct. It's difficult now because the market is very crowded. But as I said, you have to invest in good content first before you start thinking about how to make money with that content. And I gave you an example why kids content is one of the best options out of all, because people want content, kids want to see the content, parents want good content, buyers want that content, even YouTube, even Google wants good kids content. So it really makes a lot of sense to experiment on that front. Now, I don't know if you'll know of this, but this is a new development. It's not really come to India, but Facebook is doing a very smart thing. So earlier, like if you wanted people to see a video of yours, you would put a link to it and Facebook would you would be taken to that link outside. But then Facebook realized a lot of people are going out of my media. So what did they do? They said that if YouTube is paying you X, I'll pay you more than X, but you post your videos on my platform. Don't go on YouTube, you post on my platform, I'll pay you more. So they are paying people more to put videos, to publish videos on their channel. So that's another way of monetizing it. That's another way of looking. So as I said, it's not yet developed. It's a new thing which has come up. So only big media like New York Times and The Guardian and those kind of media are yet still making it. But I'm sure that will go down to audiences like you and I, and we'll be able to probably make money out of Facebook also instead of YouTube. This is, as I said, one headline that I came across. Okay, and the last mantra, like someone said earlier in the day, is going to brands and sponsorships and all that's very difficult. It is difficult, but in the genre of kids content, there is a lot of scope because, at the end of the day, brands are looking for newer ways to promote themselves, and even brands are becoming conscious of the content bit. They're also becoming conscious of the fact that content is the way, or content marketing is the way to go tomorrow. So I don't know if any of you are from the brand side or the corporate side or advertising side, but even advertising people, even brands are coming closer to this concept of content, and they are investing in content as well. So if any of you would like to explore that option, and that is ready money, that is easier money, you don't have to wait for a long time, for 2 years, 3 years to get your investment back, because if you connect well, if your concept connects well with the brand's architecture or DNA, then they will pay you upfront for that money, and that time the brand is not looking at making money. They are only, it's a form of advertising for them, so they already have their budgets in place. So you say that, I need an investment of X lakhs or X crores and all that, and if it really fits well in their scheme of things, then you might be able to make your money instantly instead of waiting for so many views to happen. Some of the examples, for example, if you're talking about kids content, just to kind of seed some thoughts in your mind, is if you have brands like Pidilite or Camlin or Chorus, this is some examples I'm giving you, then what kind of content would you create for them? For online, for kids content, for Yabba Dabba Doo kind of channels. So, for example, 3 years, 4 years is the age where kids start writing, all right? They're learning to write A, B, C, D. And yes, in school, they do teach them how to write and they give you sheets and everything, but then is there a way where they can even visually understand how to write? So if you go to Camlin or if you go to Chorus and say, that you guys can make videos, very simple videos where a child is writing A, B, C, D and teaching other children, then maybe that's an option for the brand and it's a good idea as well. You go to Camlin and say do DIY, you go to Hobbycraft and say DIY crafts and so on and so forth. Play-Doh, I gave you an example how millions of views it is getting only by showing what to do with Play-Doh. One girl who's sitting and showing what kind of crafts they can make. This is one example before I end my presentation about, if anyone has any doubts about does content work, do you make money? There is this Asian child, I think it's Singapore or Hong Kong, I don't know. His name is Ryan, all right? Now, this kid has become a kind of a celebrity and he has a huge following, huge number of subscribers. You know what do? So it's his father, his mother, and he. And they just do natural play with each other as if they are playing at home. There is no scripting, nothing. Okay, so one day, for example, Pringles. Okay, so this is a sponsored thing. What they did was they did a blindfold test. So the father and the child are sitting, and each of them is given a different flavor of Pringles. And they have to eat it, and they have to guess the taste. Okay, and it's a simple video. They had about, Pringles was coming out with about 20-30 flavors, and they tasted the flavors, and they just said, okay, this is onion and garlic, I'm done. This is my last slide. So onion and garlic, or this is that flavor, and they were having so much fun doing that. You should see the video, and it is so natural, it is so beautiful, and it's got millions of views again, and there's many videos like these of him. So just look at Ryan's Toy Reviews, it is called. He just reviews toys, he just reviews products, that's all he does. But, well, he's made his money, and he earns millions of bucks. So that's about it. Any questions or anything you all have to ask? Yes.
Monetization on regional content also.
I think very little focus is being made. First of all, there is no good content. Even English, there's no good content. If there's any content which is successful, people are taking efforts to make it regional, because that's how you reach to the tier 2 towns and this thing. But not many efforts are being made at the moment. No, not much.
Is Navalan here? Mr. Navalan?
Yes.
Huh?
Just one, sir, can I take one question?
No.
One last question? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I would like to ask you a question. How to publicize this content?
Sorry?
How to publicize this content? Because my experience is that when I had the content, so some marketing guy, he said, give me the partnership. That means it is equally so measurable size.
Yeah.
That they want a chunk of that.
Right.
So forget the content creator. Now it is the content marketer who is more important.
No, I think both are equally important, because if you have content and you don't know how to market, if you know how to market, then you're set. But if you don't know, then you will need to maybe not partner, but you can say, I can pay you X, or maybe we will, if you don't have the money, then you have to partner with him and say, okay, we will share 70 is mine, 30 is yours. It depends on the collaboration that you have. Or he will tell you that this is my budget, I can spend so much, you can tell him, and that you take this money and you make your fees and you market it for me, and then we'll see. But if you don't have the money, then you can partner with them. But marketing is important. Nowadays, everything is so crowded, the market is cluttered, so you'll have to refer to someone.
Hi.
We are a sales, we do content marketing. So we have people, we had someone who knew YouTube marketing, so we took resources and we invested a bit in marketing it also, yes.
Payal.
Yes, sir.
My name is Siraj Sayyed. I'm India correspondent for filmfestivals.com.
Wow.
The question is children's content inherently very, very difficult and rare? Because you have to look at the script from a child's point of view.
Exactly, yes.
And almost all scripting that is done for all content is done by people above 20, 25, 40,
True.
50.
Very true.
So how do you discover or train people into looking into content from the point of view
So
of
I'll
the
tell you
child?
one trend, if I am allowed half a minute to talk about. When I go to schools, I see that there are a lot of children out there who are writing their own stuff. There are children who can write, and they can write so well that they will put you to shame. So I don't know why we are not, why are we supposed to make content for children if we don't understand them? Why should we train adults to think like children? Why can't we have children make content for children? Why can't children write for children? So I don't know if that is explored. Like, we tried to explore through Yabba Dabba Doo, where we had children talk to children. We didn't have adults dancing, or we didn't have animated characters out there. We just said, okay, let's see if this works, and people are liking it. They're liking the fact, they're seeing their friends, they're seeing, oh, Naina Kaisha are doing this, oh, you know. So I think that's one thing maybe you all can explore, where you can have children who are 8, 9 years old.
Would you be open to that kind of content, to make programs based on content written by children? Will you and your channel be open to that idea?
If we can do it on Yabba Dabba Doo, of course we should. In fact, that is the philosophy of Yabba Dabba Doo, that children will do the creation, or they will be participating in the creation process. So of course,
Thank you.
yeah. All right, I think my time's up. Thank you so much for listening, and any questions, I'm here around. So yeah.
Thank you.